there's just so much data, so much information. I mean, the news seems to be reporting some more data every single day. And it was really interesting for us on this project to get our hands on that data and to really look at it for ourselves, because most of the information is fed through the media. We ended up with huge amounts of data. So then the challenge was simplifying it and making sense of it and focusing on what we should analyse and what we shouldn't.
I wanted to let the data tell its own story. The first task that we had to do was to try and work out how we could simplify it to the point where we could do something useful, hopefully tell an engaging and interesting story and provide some new information, and importantly, get it done within the deadline.
Obviously, the analytical and statistical expertise was vital to answer the challenge. But then we had creativity coming out in how to present the results in an engaging way, easy to digest. So all of them brought forward different skills, and it was lovely to see how the team gelled and worked together.
From my point of view, I thought about, right, what if someone else had a data set on COVID, what would I want to know throughout the pandemic? I was always going on BBC and looking at Greater Manchester, what's happening in my area. And I think that's kind of, where we got to when we got to kind of our simulator in the regions and stuff. I was like, how cool would this be if I can look at where I live versus where my family live or where my friends live.
And what I found particularly sort of startling in the analysis that we did was that lockdown is always held up as being the only possible way of tackling the pandemic until the vaccine is here. But actually we found in our analysis that lockdowns haven't worked to the extent that governments hoped they did. In fact, those countries that locked down hardest had continued to have the highest case rates and the highest death rates.
It appears on the face of it, it doesn't make any sense, and what this isn't showing is that there's a causal relationship there, but I think what it does suggest is that countries that were experiencing higher deaths and cases tended to lock down more harshly and impose stricter controls. But what our analysis shows is that that hasn't been an entirely effective strategy, because when we've controlled for all of the other health drivers of COVID and age-related drivers, you still see that the tougher lockdowns and the higher stringency are linked to worse outcomes. So it does seem as though stringency hasn't had the desired effect.
What's happened has happened over the last 15 months. Some of the decisions that have been made, some of the actions that have been taken have been right, and some maybe not. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is what we're going to do next, what we're going to do over the next 3, 6, 12, 24 months. And figuring out what's worked best out of all of those actions and adopting those moving forwards, not repeating the mistakes of the last 15 months. I think that's key. I think the biggest lesson that we've learned is it's great to partner with other great experts. I think it's one of the things that we as an agency offer as a boutique. We've got good people internally, but we haven't got all the skills necessary for every project.
And the team that we put together for this project worked amazingly well. They were committed. The mutual respect for everyone and their ideas and their thoughts and their contributions, and then the skills and expertise they all brought to the team made it a perfect example of teamwork achieving a wonderful result.